All right, let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to take this out so I'm not tied to a wire. I do happen to be hardlined to this computer right now. So here we go. Let's talk about Business Bootcamp Intro to Google Analytics. For those of you who said number one, this is actually the third in a series of boot camps that we've had. The first time we talked about getting found, so making sure you're found in search and maps. The second time we got together last week, which was about reaching customers online and being able to connect with them and find those who could give us the most pleasure and profit. And today we're going to be talking about Intro to Google Analytics and how to measure your marketing. Now, Google Analytics is a big topic. Understand that. So I'm not going to go in depth into the detail and the expert level of Google Analytics. I can do that for other sessions. So we're going to do more bootcamp sessions, and you let your Google partner know who invited you exactly what information you're most interested in. Deal? All right, so just reach out to them. As we go here, oh, I see the number 5. Oh, you've been to 5 sessions. Or you've missed 5 sessions. Well, I'm not sure the number 5. I saw it flash up and I didn't see what was beforehand. So forgive me if I'm not pulling from the right context. All right, if you need a copy of the handout, all right, this is what you need to screenshot. You can go to this bit.ly link here. It will take you where you can download the handout for today already. You are all set to go. But if you want a copy of today's slides, come back and visit that link or take a screenshot or take a snap of this QR code. And do know that in 24 hours, you will have a copy of today's recording, so you can slow me down and speed me up as much as you need to really understand the information or to form that next question of what you want to do to level up your business. And also you'll see the replay there and the slides. So the actual slides, that's why the slides are not in there now. I customize the slides for everybody that I talk to. Okay, so this is truly your session. And again, we are talking about intro to analytics. So we know data is out there, right? There's so much data everywhere. It's easy to be overwhelmed with data. Those are statistics, little factoids, pieces of information, and sometimes they can make wonderful trivia. But here's the thing, as small businesses, our time is more valuable than money. We are trying to do all these different things as well as ideate what we're going to do to grow the business. So we are being director of marketing, director of analytics and data, as well as chief customer service person, janitor, mail person, all of that. We are covering all of those roles. And while data can be very interesting, it can be very heavy. So there's a real saying there that I want to start with first, which there are things that are neat. N-E-A-T, neat, cool, amazing factoids to know. They're very neat to know, but they're not what you need to know to run your business. And I always know when a business does not know what they need to know to be able to grow their business, because they want data about everything. They want to look at everything. Give me reports about everything, because they're not sure exactly what the numbers are that help move that bottom line up and grow their business. And they don't want to lose track of or lose focus of what could that be. So they don't want to lose being able to see that. So they start looking at anything and everything. They'll spend hours in analytics, not just because they're confused about how to connect it, but because all the factoids are great about, oh, you know, the customer that came in at 2 o'clock in the morning is between 20 and 30-year-olds, and she had 20 or 30 years old, and she has 1 child. She went to college. I love those factoids, but is that what you truly need to know? So understand that data needs to tell a story. That's first and foremost. Who are your customers when they come to your site? Where are they coming from? You know, be it geographically, or what social network did they come from, or what campaign or email marketing? Was it an ad? Was it something that you put out? Was it something that you said at a in-person Chamber of Commerce, B&I networking, Rotary Club meeting? Where did they actually come from? How did they find you? Was it by referral? Did they look at a flyer that you put out? Was it your email signature? How is it that they actually found you? And then what they'll do is you want to know what they found most interesting, because remember, it's all about our customers at that point. Truly, we need to be experts in our customer, and we need to understand their decision journey and the information that they need to actually be able to put things together to make good decisions, okay? And then what sparks them? Really, what are they curious about? Where are they at when they are one step past what's known or before what's known as the looking zone? So understand, yes, Erin is totally right. So Aaron says that the slides will be coming soon. Yep, but the handout is there right now. And remember what I said, in 24 hours, you're going to get a copy of today's slides because I customize everything, as well as the recording, because it will render for a bit, but then it takes me a little bit to load those up. Okay. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that that is coming. And I do a Q&A at the end, even though I keep it highly interactive. Okay. But when I do the Q&A, I take the recording off just to preserve your privacy. All right. Now, just so that I know, because everybody's seeing the slides, okay, I just want to make sure you can see the slide graphics here, but can you see me as well? I'm not sure if that's the case or not. So let me know. Just confirmation in the chat box would be great. All right, Tiffany, wonderful. Perfect, slides in you. I just want to make sure I wasn't covering up the slides because I've had people say that before. Thank you, everybody. It's amazing. Okay, thank you. You're really helpful. I love that you're using that chat box. All right, so as we go through this, I'm not going to show you the video right now because it's sometimes weird to do that, but I will add that in the link when you get a copy of today's slides and the recording. Okay. So I'm not going to show, there's a video about how people utilize analytics. I really want to dive in here. If you want me to show the video at the end, I'm happy to do that, but I don't want to lose track because sometimes the video knocks people off of their audio. I don't want that experience for you. Today, I'm going to be talking about an intro to Google Analytics, how to understand your account. I'll also talk about how Google Analytics has a search box, how you can use it with Google Ads. So everything that I'm talking about today is 100% free. Even Google Ads, those of you who were in a session before saw how I actually showed you how to use certain aspects and functions of Google Ads 100% free, not even having to put your credit card in, right? So I will tell you how you can connect this, even though these are all completely free, and you can use paid things in Google Ads, but we'll talk about the free things and what you benefit from connecting the two. And as always, I end with a recap of what we've done and also resources. So your job during all of this is to find that question box so I can customize everything that I'm answering, excuse me, and talking about today. But also your job is to think about what is the one or two things that you want to apply, because knowledge is not powerful until it's applied. So as we talk about Google Analytics, we're going to actually have our fictitious business owners, Eva and Ricky, in front of us, and Eva and Ricky have a t-shirt shop. So we're going to really study in here their business and talk about how Google Analytics impacts their business and what they can do there. So Eva and Ricky do have a t-shirt shop, and they have to make some decisions. And a lot of times when we are small businesses, we have made decisions by gut instinct, and it has served us well. But what got us here is not going to get us there in the next level. And it's, excuse me, pardon me, I don't want to do that in your ear. So what we know is we need to be able to level up. And part of that is becoming even better in understanding who that best customer is. In Eva and Ricky's case, they want to know whether or not their face-to-face customers actually are not just loving their design, but referring their design. They can't understand really what was most popular. Okay, hopefully that fixed that once and for all. And they didn't understand really what was more popular and why it wasn't selling online as far as local items. And they started to utilize Google Analytics. Now, some of you have Google Analytics. If you do have Google Analytics, let me know. Just use the number 1 that you have Google Analytics and you feel comfortable using that. Use number 1. If you're new to this, you don't have to say so. And if you don't even have Google Analytics, but if you have Google Analytics 4, which is the next set of Google Analytics or the next up level of Google Analytics, just put the number, actually put the number 4 there. If you've got Google Analytics 4, I'd love to know. All right. Vicky's got 4. All right. A lot of people on 1. I love it. 1 is the original Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, but just so that everybody knows, Google Analytics 1 or Universal Analytics as it's called, so you know it as UA, Universal Analytics, will be going away July 1st. It will no longer exist, and only Google Analytics 4. So you do need to be able to transition to Google Analytics 4, which we'll talk about. So first things first is you have to have SMART goals. This is the heavy lifting, the not sexy part of what I'm going to be talking about with you today. And the reason I'm spending time doing that is because I have seen many amazing businesses that have grown to 8 figures, but because they didn't have goals that have been SMART tested, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, because they didn't SMART test every single one of their goals, it took them almost those 8 figures just to even get to their goals. So I do want to make more money and I want small businesses to make more money. But to me, making $100,000 in a month is not great. If you spent $999,000 or $999,000.99 to get there, 1 cent is not worth your time, your energy, and money. So as you think about that, do you smart test all of your goals? Are every single one of your goals specific? Not just, I want more Facebook fans, I want more followers. That's great. That makes you feel wonderful. That's what's known as a vanity metric. But what do 100 Facebook fans mean to you? How does that translate to the bottom line of people who visit and do a success action, a conversion action on your website? Is it attainable? I want to make $1 million, but I only made $1 last year. Then what are you doing now that's different from before to be able to make up that difference from making $1 to making $1 million? Okay. Is it relevant? Again, you know your business. How does this connect to lifting the bottom line? And do you understand exactly the journey that people take when they're doing business with you, or what their average order value is or lifetime value that a customer provides to you? If they're coming back, buying something over and over again, that increases the lifetime value to a customer, or of a customer to you. And you need to know all of that. So know that your goals are all smart tested. As they have business goals, Eva and Ricky, what they were looking for is they wanted to create city themed design. So they targeted a few cities is what they were looking for their goals. And they really wanted to focus on social. They felt like social and some of the paid advertising out there would help them in being able to break into these 3 cities. And that because of that, they wanted to monitor how well it was doing in Google Analytics. So what Google Analytics does is it truly does track and tell you how somebody consumes and shops information on your site. Now, let me take a pause right there because I said the word shop. And for those of you that are nonprofits who are not looking to sell in e-commerce, not to worry. I have a strong nonprofit background as well. I was an executive fundraiser before all of this, heavily involved with the National Society of Professional Fundraisers. So I understand the importance of fundraising, also being able to have sponsors and donors. This is important because you need all of that. For you, anything that you're doing on the site, on your actual site, that you get what you want from people who visit your site, be it that they download a PDF, leave their email address, click on your contact information, that they look at a video and watch the video, read the blog post, whatever that is considered a conversion action, a success action. How they go through your site is how they consume the information. It's their journey and their behavior flow on your site, but you will hear me call it shop and sale, okay? Just because that's what I'm used to saying, all right? But that is what I mean, because all of us in nonprofit, we know that it's important to get those donors and also those friend raisers who can get you closer to a good donor or sponsor. So what are your goals? Let me know in the chat box. What are your goals whenever you are doing something? What's your focus? You know, right now we're in Q2, right? April, we're in Q2 of 2023. What's your biggest goal right now? To get more sales, more appointments? You can write that down in the chat box, or you can just write it down for yourself because it needs to be front and center of everything that you're doing. If, for example, you're doing something that may be really fun and entertaining, you're doing a great TikTok dance, you're doing a challenge, that's great. But how is that actually contributing to the goal? You know how that works. That's great. I'm a fan of TikTok and any of the videos. So I'm not trying to make fun of it, but I know a lot of people go in there because their competitors are there and they're hoping to get more eyeballs to look at them. And y'all who've been here with me for the other 2 sessions know that I love hope. It's wonderful to have, but it's a poor business strategy. So a lot of people are sales, all of the above. Absolutely. Know what that is. So all of the above is great to have, but understand if you're trying to focus on all of the above at the same time, that does dilute what you're doing often. And sometimes muddies your message so that when somebody is going to your site, they don't know what you want them to do next. Understand it's not because we're stupid, but we're inundated with about 12,000 messages in any given day. So we're distracted all the time with Slack pings or text or something's coming across, or wow, you know, they just gave me this notification that somebody posted an Instagram story. So we do have all of that, and it can be very confusing if we, as somebody shopping your site, don't know what is it that we need to do next, or whatever you've put out there, your email, your YouTube video, anything that you have, links in your bio, right? All right, so what is Google Analytics? That will let you know the behavior on the site. So in the interest for Eva and Ricky, in this case study, they're going to really want to know and understand who their website visitor is. That's what you can do with Google Analytics. They're going to want to really see which marketing strategies are working, not what just makes them feel good. And they also are going to make better business decisions because they are really knowing their customer and then not truly just from in their head. This is getting information from their customer, which is really who we want to get to know and be experts on. So in Google Analytics, you can truly understand what content really gets your audience. If they like videos that are about 15 seconds, quick snippets of what are the potential pitfalls and how you help them with that, now you know that as you see them looking at more information, really watching those videos completely, going to places in your site where they can find out more because the video did its job in getting them to take a look and say, tell me more, I want to do business with you. So perhaps it's to create more content. That's your next step. It could be that you need to evaluate which channels. I feel really good that everybody hits me up on Instagram and it's great, lots of good comments, but is it truly the one that drives everything to my business, or is it Pinterest? Now when I look at it, it's really Pinterest that's doing everything. And even though I'm not a Pinteresty person because I can get lost hours in there, maybe it's what I need to focus on instead of Instagram that's just making me feel good. Okay, again, this is really us becoming experts in our customer. So for you, Google Analytics is evolving. You heard me talk about that a moment ago. Google Analytics 4 has already launched. Now understand there's a few things that are definitions that are not really what you would think it is. So you'll hear people say migrate to Google Analytics 4. And you do. There is a place where you switch and you can migrate from utilizing the Universal Analytics tool, which you know by seeing the UA underneath. If you see that number there, then you're using the Universal Analytics, where Google Analytics 4 is just a number, no UA, so no letters in front of it. But it is not, when you migrate, you're not migrating all your information. Both, you see that line there, are two separate things. So all of your history and data in Universal Analytics 1 or Universal Analytics is just that, in Universal Analytics, and it stays there. Google Analytics 4 now operates from whenever you connect it to your website. It starts there. It will not be able to look at historic data back from 2020 or 2019. It is going to pick up from the day you connect it to your site. And that's why for the last almost 2 years, you've heard Google talk about connecting it now, because you want to have that historical data right now when you can compare the two, which is what I'm doing for a lot of businesses that I work with. You want to be able to compare the two and make sure that you're getting the reports and the information that you're looking for, and you feel comfortable finding this before all of this goes away on July 1st. So if you don't have Google Analytics, because I did see some people not say that they didn't have it, if you'll go to g.co/analytics. Now you do have to be logged into a free Google account. This is free, not the paid workspace account. So a free personal Gmail account counts, or a free Google account that you sign up by going to google.com/accounts. That's a plural, accounts at the end. You can go in there, sign up. Once you sign in there and bring up your Google account, if you'll go to in another tab, g.co/analytics, now it will refresh and actually see your credentials, and it'll bring you in and you'll start setting up a property. A property is a website. So your website's what's known as your digital property. As you set this up, what you're going to do now is you're going to get an access to the setup assistance. So this is when you're migrating. All right, so this is when you're migrating. So for this is when you're brand new coming in, you're about to set it up, a property. But as you're migrating in, if you have Universal Analytics, you'll go to the setup assistant right here, and you will go find that in the admin tab. So you'll see that at the middle column, and it will actually prompt you through exactly what to do next. I like it. It's really intuitive. So that is really helpful for you to know to get that done if you've not migrated over to Google Analytics 4 yet. So it can start tracking in your information before Universal Analytics goes away. Now, in understanding your account, that's our next step. So I want to dive into this next, but before I do that, for those of you who just came on during this time and did not see, this is the URL that you need to go to if you need a copy of the handout that's available today. And also if you need a copy of today's slides and the recording, which will be available in 24 hours. I'm going to actually pull this as well. Let me bring this up here so I can pull it and drop this in the chat box too. That way you guys have it. Let me do that real quick. All right. just so that you have, that's the URL to go to there. Do know that you can get the handout right now, but also understand you'll get the recording. So that's the replay and a copy of today's slides in 24 hours from now. So that will be uploaded. Again, I customize everything that I'm doing here, and I will turn off the recording for the Q&A part, but do use that chat box right now if you have any questions. So now we're going to talk about understanding your actual Google Analytics. So when you're in your Google Analytics account, and you'll see on your screen there, the home page drops you into a place where you can start looking at everything analytics. You can filter and do a lot of things here to really look at the information that will help move that bottom line. It allows you to navigate everywhere, just like any other Google tool. All the navigation happens on the left side. So you see that here depicted in the graphic, and you can even scroll down and see more. So as you're in your analytics account, you're going to get to know different reports. Remember what I said about data being so much out there, but there is what you need to know and there's what's neat to know. We'll focus today on what you need to know depending on your different goals, and then how you can customize that information. One of the first areas you'll want to go to then, once you have and know your SMART goals and what you're looking for to see whether or not it is helping grow your business and how people are actually utilizing your site and getting to that point that you want them to do a success action or a conversion action on your site, you're going to look at reports. The standard report looks like this. So you see this in front of you, your graphic. There's a lot of data in there. And that's why you can hear people say that they get lost in Google Analytics, because they're trying to get everything in there and they really don't have an agenda, which is outlined and determined by their goals. So you can select the date range if you want to. You can customize filters. Maybe you want to know who came in from Instagram, how many people came from TikTok, who actually came in from Pinterest. Is that actual email marketing that I just did working for me? Do people actually come from a referral? Is this a customer? Are they coming back several times and buying, so that lifetime value of the customer is even increasing? We can also compare, how does the customer that I'm focused on that is in the Corpus Christi area compare with the customer that's in Dallas? Are they buying at the same level, or is there more interest in Corpus Christi? Let's say if I spend $5 in ads, or let's just say that if we've got 5 people, I'm not even going to put any money to it because everything that I'm talking about is 100% free. So let's say we have 5 people come to our site from Corpus Christi. Of those 5 people, 4 click around and they look at everything, but 1 actually does something that's a success action. They buy from us, they download something, they watch a video, they give us their contact information, or they sign up for our email or SMS plan, whatever we do. Now, let's say they come from Dallas. We have 5 people coming from Dallas. 4 of them click around. Of the 4, 3 of them buy. If I had only limited amount of time, where am I going to spend my time? Even though both are good customers. If I know for every 5 that come to my site, 3 are going to buy. In Dallas, 5, 3, and in Corpus, of 5, 1, where would I spend all my time, energy, and money? That's how this helps you make better business decisions. Now, you can also look at the real-time report there in the standard report. What this is showing is actually in real time right now what's happening on your site. I love to do this when I've launched a new post where there's a link in there, so it could be in any socials. I've launched a post and I want to see, is it driving traffic right now like it's supposed to? Because I know social media posts only have a short lifetime value. If you're on TikTok, it's got a value or time span of about less than a minute while it's in everybody's feed. And then if it's not popular or trending, it goes away from there. So as I look at this, is it doing what it needs to do? If I released email marketing, is it releasing and doing what it needs to do, bringing up everything and bringing people to my site? Or did I fail in the creative, what the ad said, the call to action, or who I targeted towards? Because I need to measure all of these things, and this helps me monitor that. I was working with a business that was lucky enough to have their actual new invented product highlighted as one of the fall needs to have at the Today Show. So I could actually sit on their Google Analytics and see, as the Today Show aired in the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, I could see people coming from their site. It helped measure whether or not the time and energy it took them to get to the East Coast to New York to do all of this, because it took them away from their business. They're a small business who also has to take care of their customer, but there was value in it, and we were able to actually track that and see that in their analytics. You'll also know where people come from. This is really important because we need to know if people are coming from direct traffic. What direct traffic means is that people know your name. Excuse me. So for example, direct traffic, if you are ABC company, your frog teas, right? Your frog teas, Rob. So you're putting in frog teas. That is direct traffic. That means I know your name. That means your branding has worked. If I know my branding's work and I've got good brand equity, I can make some really good solid business decisions on whether or not I need to be showcasing everything on social, because social is wonderful to have, but it's also a very strong branding tool. So as I'm branding and becoming visible, because if people don't know I exist, they can't do business with me. So if that's my first order of business, is I have to be visible first. I have to actually show up here for people to know that I can help them with my product, service, or solution. Then I may see that my direct traffic is not as much because, of course, they don't know my name yet, and we want them to know my name. But if they already know my name, if I've got a lot of direct traffic, then I might say, okay, top of funnel, that is when you get visibility, all right? That is when there is awareness. That's the top of funnel. That's known as TOFU, top of funnel. Okay, so if you hear anybody, any marketing person talk to you about tofu, mofu, and bofu, that means top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Middle of funnel and bottom of funnel are your warm markets. Top of funnel is right at the very beginning. They're just getting that moment of realizing that you exist. So if that's the case, your direct traffic may be really low, but your organic traffic may be really high. That means they are looking for t-shirts. So they know they have a need. They are looking for t-shirts, but they have no idea that you exist, Rob. They do know that they want t-shirts, so there is a need. Right? When they go straight to your brand, when they put in your name, that's direct traffic. It could be referral traffic coming from another site. It could be CPC. So maybe there's a friend of yours who posted you on social, or maybe you were at a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce. And so that could be a referral. It could be that they're an affiliate or highlighting things for you. It could be through email, or it could be cost per click. But now you know exactly where they're coming from. And this is one of my favorite reports to spend a lot of time in, because a lot of people will tell me, oh, this makes a lot of money for me, but it's just that feel good. And really, when you look at the numbers don't lie, that it's not bringing in actually what they need in revenue. And then they find that there's something actually better. And after the fact, after they actually read the report and understand what it says, they realize, why wasn't I doing that already? What took me so long, right? You can also see engaged sessions. So you can look at the engagement here within this report. And in the engagement, this lets you know what people are doing. So if I had a physical store and all day long, all morning long, I should say, people came into the store and they went to row 1 and row 3. So they went to aisle 1, aisle 3, and then they left and didn't buy anything all morning long, I would look at that and go, what is it that I'm not providing to them, right? But then the afternoon hits and I see people come in from aisle 1, then they go to aisle 4, then they go to aisle 3 and they buy 1, 4, 3 buy. Now I've got questions. What is it on aisle 4 that is getting them there? Is it my afternoon customer that's more primed for this? What is going on? So now that's the same thing with your site. All day long, they go into your homepage, page 1, they go to page 3, then they're off going to see your customers. Do you know that? Do you look at that in analytics? That's one of the things that I look at. Do they go to social to get social proof, to feel that you're credible and really decide whether or not they do like you and want to do business with you and they're starting to build trust? Or do they go to a competitor site and start comparing you to that competitor? That's important to know. So I like to know where people even go once they leave aisle 3 and go. But as they go from page 1 to page 4 to page 3, and then they buy, they watch that video, they download, they actually buy or purchase something. Now I want to know, who is that? Who just came in there, and can I know them better and find more of them so they'll come all day long? Or what is it in aisle 4 that I need to do more of? So on page 4, that may be of more interest and really speak to our customers and their decision journey. And then, of course, what are people buying? Remember what I said, buying is a success action. What they're doing in this case, though, it is buying through e-commerce. So there is an actual e-commerce monetization side that lets you know this. And I like to know this because people will go through your site, and then they will put things in a cart if you've got an e-commerce store, and then they leave. That's what's known as an abandoned cart. There is a difference between an abandoned cart and abandoned checkout. So an abandoned cart means I put everything in my cart, and just like you would in a physical store, that I dipped. I left the cart all by itself. So there was an interest there, but something distracted them, took them away, or made them think, I don't want this anymore. What's in my cart? I am leaving now. We need to understand what that is. But there's also a measure called, that you can look here as far as a metric called abandoned checkout. What does that mean? That means I took everything in my cart. I went to the checkout. I got everything out, all my payment, everything. I got all the information that I need to pay. And then what happened was I had to put my payment in. So I put my address in, all my information, even my email. I've got everything in there. Now I have to pay. And something stopped me from paying. The abandoned checkout means something happened between payment that made that something was abandoned. So this isn't just that they got to your site, your page, and they thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave all this information. Now you can see things like, oh, well, I told them that there was Klarna on the site where they can pay for something, but now they can't even find where Klarna is. So Klarna is a tool where people can do payments like in 4 or 5 different payment installments, but they can still get the product. So they went there thinking that they could pay for portion of it, but they don't see where they can actually pay for Klarna. Or perhaps they went there to pay and they have an American Express, but you don't take American Express. Or maybe they use Shop Pay or Google Pay, Apple Pay, and you don't take that either. Or maybe you take them to Amazon with Amazon Pay, and now they have to have an Amazon account and they hate Amazon and they don't want to do it. You need to understand exactly what's working. So that's what we mean with abandoned cart and abandoned checkout. Those are 2 different things. We also need to understand who our loyal customers are, who comes back, who takes a look, how many times do they take a look, how much value is there in that customer. Maybe that customer that comes, takes a look every other month, they come and they rebuy things and they even take a look at some of the new things, gives us an opportunity to upsell or to provide them even subscriptions of what we're doing. Okay, so a chance for us to even, let's say if we're a nonprofit, to give them opportunities to friend raise themselves and to host their own events and maybe breakfasts and really showcase to their friends that this is what they support. This gives us the opportunity to truly understand them. And it also gives us an opportunity to keep the audience and understand what we need to know about them. What browser do they use? Understand that Google Analytics 4 and why we're such a big fan of it is because it understands each individual instead of each device. So Universal Analytics measures by each device. So it'll know, I mean, here's, I'm coming in on mobile, I'm coming in on laptop, I'm coming in on desktop, I'm on my smart TV. But what Google Analytics knows is that this is Maria and she might be waiting to pick up her son. So she's on her mobile. When she's done picking up her son, she's going to head back to her remote office and bring up her laptop. And now she's going to be on her laptop. And then she's going to go do something else and be back on her mobile. And when she gets to her house, she's going to throw it to her smart TV. And even though those are 4 different devices, those are still all Maria. Okay, it will do that. Now, one of the best tools within your Google Analytics account is the Google Analytics search box. So you will see this now in Google Analytics 4, especially. You see it in Universal Analytics, but I'm going to show you Google Analytics 4, how to use it, because that is what is, again, coming July 1st, whether you like it or not. That's the only Google Analytics that will be out there. It is 100% free. But what it does, it gives you a chance to feature what's known as analytics intelligence. So you're going to hear me call it AI. And it is a kind of AI, but it's not artificial intelligence. This is actually analytics intelligence, giving you measurements on your exact customers and visitors to your site, as well as you and your site, how well it's doing and how people are consuming information. All right, I did see somebody request to record this. Not to worry, you are going to get a copy of today's recording in 24 hours. So I didn't approve the recording because I didn't want anything to slow down the bandwidth or anything of what we're doing here, just because I don't control that part or Zoom. But I did want to let you know that in 24 hours, you'll get a copy of that, and I'll show you how you can get that. But there is a link right now, if you look at the chat box, where you can get the handout, and you will know in 24 hours, just visit that link. You'll get a copy of today's slides and the recording, okay? So analytics intelligence, what this is if you want to search for any answers or reports. So some of the reports like I just showed you, but maybe you want to know specific pieces of information from the report. I want to know who came from Instagram, who came from my story, but also has visited my site before and potentially even has watched some of my videos on my site. So we can start searching for instant answers. We can look for reports. We can see how each page is doing. A lot of people feel that their blog is doing well, but then they don't know how to really measure that. So I could look at a blog page and just see how many people come there, what information they're looking at, whether or not it helps with them doing the next success action or buying something. I could take a look at a page and really understand those insights. How many seconds are they spending or minutes on there, really to see if that information is important to them. Do they read all of the blog posts, or do they look at the product? Do they look at the photos? Do they watch everything? I can also search by property, so you can put more than one's website associated with Google Analytics. You're just going to bring up each property individually because they don't mix together. And then you can also search for help too, especially if you're new to Google Analytics 4, because if you're new to Google Analytics 4, you might just need to see what artificial insights, or not artificial analytics insights. See, I'm already mixing it up with artificial intelligence. That's why I was telling you that earlier. It's not you, it's me. I'll be the one to do that. But as you look here, you can set up alerts of different things. It'll show you the different insights that could be helpful to you in your decision-making and understanding of your customer. So you can create these alerts so it'll ping you. Again, this helps a lot of people, especially if they're doing business and they're taking care of customers, but they don't want to be distracted or completely absorbed in analytics and be the data geek that I am. They just want to go in there and find out information quickly. So they set up alerts and they never look at the other things again. That's okay too, as long as you know your SMART goals and what's helping you measure whether or not those SMART goals are actually coming true. So in the case of as you're filtering things and coming up with those alerts, you might come up with dimensions. So what a dimension is that's a specific aspect of the information, the analytics, the data. So it could be, let's say I am looking at people who bought in the state of Texas, but the dimension could be, it's something specific. I want to know how many people in the state of Texas from Corpus Christi looked at things. So I'm looking at that different dimension. The secondary dimension could be, I'm looking for people who are in the state of Texas from Corpus Christi who used a Chrome browser, or who used their mobile phone, who has an Android, or who used an iPhone. So that could be a secondary dimension and different segment of that dimension. So there's the dimension, which would be Corpus Christi. A segment of that are people in Corpus Christi who use a Chrome browser, or Corpus Christi who use an Android phone. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me know in the question box if this is helpful to you or is it too confusing. Let me know and I'll be sure to stop and help you. Now, as you explore, you also have that opportunity to explore. You see that icon to the left that helps you explore, and you can see lots of things there as far as what's happening with your paid traffic. Remember what I said, direct traffic is they typed in your name specifically. They know your brand. They know your website URL. There is paid traffic that could be either through social paid ads or Google search paid ads, Bing, any of those paid ads. It could be mobile traffic. It could be tablet traffic. So you know how to lay things out. There are some people now who don't even build a desktop site. I've been to some sites that say that there is no way to view it on a desktop. You need to look at it only on a mobile. So you need to know that. And you might want to look at these different dimensions and segments of your actual visitors. So in Eva and Ricky's case, as they were trying to wonder what they needed to do online and be able to target those 3 cities, what they needed to do is they needed to make sure they had SMART goals for those cities. So they needed to target and understand how they were going to measure whether or not they were successful in those cities and whether their efforts were successful. They also need to know what did perform, because it might not be an all or none. It could be, well, this particularly what you posted in TikTok or in YouTube within your YouTube shorts actually really resonated in Chicago, but in Detroit, they were all about Pinterest and they wanted to look at Pinterest. So again, it's not that I'm throwing everything out, but it could be that I can now segment and really understand at a very focused level what my audience does and deliver to them specifically. So I'm not just throwing money on the wall and hoping something sticks, because who has enough time, energy, and money to do that? We don't. We've got to make sure that we got cash flow. So as we look here, they could decide whether or not they're going to keep their marketing focus on all 3 cities, or maybe they really found out, you know what, it's really Chicago and Detroit that were really moving the needle for us. So that's where we need to focus in. Now, when you're doing ads, remember what I said about Google Ads, you could connect that even with your paid PPC, that's paid per click, when people are paying for their ads. If you connect Google Analytics with your ads, 2 things happen. Number 1 is when you connect any Google tool with another Google tool, these are strong signals to the algorithm that this is a real business. Their information looks the same at both places, and they're really trying to get out there and get visible. Now Google favors that in the algorithm and shows you higher in search. So that's number one. Number two, it helps Google Ads, when it's connected to Google Analytics, learn from each other. So when they learn from each other, you're not duplicating a mistake, let's say on your website. Hey, this information, this video didn't really do well with them, but I also have it as a Google ad, and that video didn't do well, but I paid for people to look at that ad. So I could have let Google Analytics teach from the website, no, that video, no go, no good. And it would teach Google Ads that, so Google Ads wouldn't show it. But it also lets Google Ads, which sometimes Google Ads gets the volume behind it, people actually looking at an ad, because you only pay when they click, not when they look. So as they're looking at that ad, now Google Ads telling you, you know what, of the 4 videos that you sent out there as ads, really one is what everybody's interested, they look at and is bringing home the money. So now it teaches Google Analytics, you know what, this is the one video. So as Google Analytics knows that, now it's showing in search. The first page of search, that video, that page with the video on it is showing that video, because it's saying, this is what people are most interested in. It also helps you make a decision to say, why am I even spending money on showing the other 4, right? Maybe I just put all of it, all that money into the first, and just try to duplicate and replicate that and keep doing that until there's the law of diminishing returns, you know, right? I just get to the point where it's the ceiling. I can keep pushing that and doing that. So keep all of that in mind. As you're looking at that, you want to link all that, because they grow and they learn together. And it also lets Google know that if something is popular, it brings down the cost that you're paying per click. So it really decreases your cost per click. The more Google tools that you connect together, okay, this is an expert marketer's insider tip, all right? The more Google tools you link together, all those pings to the algorithm now bring down the cost to search, because why? Google, or what you pay for the click, I should say, and how, where you show up higher in search. And this is why you've confirmed your information. Google's the #1 search engine in the world, because it delivers the right information to people. It can only confirm that information when several tools are saying the same thing. Now it pushes that out. It also lets Google Ads, don't charge this person that much, because this is popular and we want people to still use Google search. Okay, so it's win for Google, which means it's a win for you as well. So you can link products this way by going into your admin, the administrative settings, and you're going to go in here and link Google Ads. You'll click here and it'll walk you through. It's very intuitive. Okay. So that is our intro to Google Ads. And as always, I want to stop with a recap here and cover what your next actions are, because while this all may be interesting or even overwhelming, and I understand that because I was not a Google Analytics person too, until I got into business trying to figure out what's going on with business. And as I started digital marketing, I really needed to understand something more than what I was getting from the different platforms. So for you, is it to set up your Google Analytics or to turn your universal analytics to Google Analytics
Hi.
4? It's known as GA4 for short.
I was
You'll
just
hear
trying to
people refer to it
reach
as that.
William
Is it
Wu,
to set
the
SMART
realtor.
goals? Is that what I need to do first and
Is this
foremost?
the wrong number?
Is it to learn
Oh,
what
I'm so
actually
sorry, it
is
is.
most valuable to
I
our
just
business?
noticed
Do I
my
need to
mistake.
spend time in socials? Do I need to spend any time doing those newsletters? Or do I need to do more in video? Or maybe it's Pinterest is my thing. And I know I'm playing with Pinterest right now. That's just because before I got on here, I was talking to a business, it was really showing that Pinterest was driving things to their Etsy shop, and they didn't realize it was Pinterest that was doing all of the driving. They thought it was some of the efforts that they were putting in other socials. And then you can measure those results and make those better business decisions from looking at those results. So remember, if you want a copy of the recording that I just shared here with you today of the information I shared, you can go to this URL right here. I've also dropped it in the link. Oh, someone needs to mute their mic. I'm so sorry. I did not have my earbud on. I did not realize that somebody had a mic on. That's my fault, everybody. I apologize. I apologize, everybody. That was my job to do that. I did not turn off everybody's ability to do that. Okay, people, I'm so sorry. That's my own fault. I apologize. No worries, no worries. I got so excited about seeing you guys. I forgot that. So understand, I'm a Google gal, not a Zoom gal. This is I'm still a noob. So that is my fault. Oh, y'all, I am so sorry. Was that bothering you all the whole time? Okay. If it was, let me know. I apologize. I did not have this wire in because I did take that off. My fault. I was supposed to do that. It's my job to put the security settings in. Please forgive me, everybody. That is me being the Okay, for 6 seconds. Arthur's making me feel better. Thank you, Arthur. Arthur, thank you. All right, if you want a copy of today's slides, please know that. If you want to let me know that, Maria, next time, do your settings, do the security, then you can review me here too. If it was helpful for you, I'd love to hear that too. Really anything, honestly, let me know right here. You can go to reviewmaria.com. It'll take you straight to where you can leave me a review on Google or use that QR code. Okay, everybody. And if you want to stay connected with me, feel free to do that too. Absolutely, you're very welcome, Tiffany. You can find me at any of these places, but if you put bit.ly/find Maria, it will bring up all my socials, and you just pick the one that you're most used to using or you're comfortable with, okay, where you'd like to connect. Remember that knowledge is not powerful until it is applied, so it's important for you to figure out what's the 1 or 2 things to make your time not just expense today, but an actual investment in your business. And now I'm going to go to Q&A. All right, so as I go to Q&A, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording.